Hello, welcome to the video. I'm going to be checking out Hogwarts Legacy on my 4090. I just thought I'd take a look at the game because I know there's been a couple of updates since I last checked it out. I'm going to be doing it at 4K, we've got that here. I will be checking DLSS 3 out as well, but we'll test native at first. So that's those settings, and then I've got everything set to Ultra. And we've got ray tracing on here as well, reflection shadows. That's on as well, quality set to max. So let's check that out. Right, so it's looking like we're getting under 60 FPS here, especially in this area. We're getting about 45 to kind of 55. A little bit of stuttering as well. The frame time is not looking too good. Not looking too healthy there, a bit choppy in this area. It's probably one of the harder areas to run, I think. We'll obviously definitely check out some other areas. But we're sitting at about 14 gigs on VRAM. Probably see that creep up a little bit. So obviously for 4K native, everything maxed. Oftentimes with ray tracing, you can see like 14 to 16 gig. So it's kind of in and around that. It might creep up 1 or 2 gig. Power as well is not too bad. Average like 350. It's fairly similar to quite a lot of games. I'm noticing GPU usage though isn't really completely maxed out. It's dipping quite a bit, seeing 94, 96%. See if we dip down any more. Seems like it doesn't want to go over 95. Oh, there you go, 98.
All in your debt for stopping.
But it's fluctuating a little bit more than you'd like to see, really. But yeah, so it can't quite hold the 60 FPS here. So fairly similar to when I last played. And although the frame time is quite choppy, it actually doesn't feel that bad. I'm not noticing any visual stuttering or anything, even though the lows are quite bad. And even in those areas, VRAM up to 14. RAM as well is so high, 25 gig. I know when we last played, I think I remember hitting 32 gig before. And almost 20 gigs of VRAM I think we had once. If I remember, I don't know how much of that's been fixed. Weirdly though, in some of these areas too, getting lower GPU usage down to 90%. We seem to be holding just above 60 in this bit. I know a lot of the time opening the doors and stuff in this game caused a lot of stuttering. It seems like there's still a little bit of a pause when where it seems like it's loading stuff in, but it seems like it's holding above 60. There's definitely going to be, yeah, drops. There we go, drops under 60 at least. Which, in terms of FPS, isn't massively different from when I last played. I think maybe the only thing they have fixed is that it does feel... it's not stuttering or anything like it was before. There was a ton of stuttering, which kind of ruined it a bit. But GPU power is looking pretty high, almost 400. It is hitting just over 400. Even out here, not getting particularly high frames here, 50. I know oftentimes the trees and stuff will drop your frame rate loads. That's why I wanted to check the forest out. And then we'll check the DLSS 3 out as well. Hopefully that should give us over 100 at least. Which, obviously a pretty big jump in frames, but yeah, still getting the same issues here. 45 FPS there.
The castle must have been quite stately in its
Which,
time.
obviously this is Unreal Engine 4, so it'd have been kind of been interesting to have seen this game in 5, you know, it could have potentially been a lot worse, because I know a lot of Unreal Engine 5 games we've seen haven't really been that great, but we've also seen a few now that have also been okay, like fairly decent, so... But obviously this game kind of came out, was in development really before. I think they probably had a chance to do 5. It was probably a little bit too early. So yeah, dips down still, but it does just feel a little bit smoother and not so much stuttering. I think really is the takeaway from it. Okay, so I'm now going to take a look with DLSS 3 on. So we're still at 4K here, but we've got DLSS set to quality, so we're rendering here just at around about 1440p, upscaling back to 4K, and I've got frame generation on here as well. We've still got everything maxed out ultra. We've got ray tracing and everything on as well. So let's have a look. Should be significantly higher frames. So yeah, look, I mean, we're getting over... Should hopefully stay for the most part over 100 FPS here, which is decent. We had about... In this area before with these same settings, we had about 50 on average. So it's pretty much doubled the FPS, maybe just slightly over doubled it. Which is decent. Did notice a bit of a stutter there. So it's still stuttering a little bit. Our low... Got a low of 30 FPS. We'll have a little look around. It has dropped my GPU power a little bit as well. Had closer to 400, so we're using for the most part under 350. The frame generation's probably increased the VRAM by about a gig and a half straight away, it looks like. I do think there's maybe some kind of memory leaks in this game because you see it just go up and up over time. We're still using a lot of RAM, 25 gig. I know before, after playing for like 2-3 hours, VRAM can go up to like 20-21 gig on my 4090. And it does make the frame time look a little bit smoother as well, so I do think you'd probably get less stuttering overall. I mean, even in here, we've got 130 FPS here. And the frame time looks a lot nicer. There's definitely still going to be some areas like that, that kind of the hallway area we were just in with all the marble. Definitely seems like it's harder to run that with all the ray tracing, but... So I'd probably either play... If you're going to play 4K with everything maxed, then maybe run it with DLSS, the upscaling or frame generation. But if you're maybe going to stay native, just switch ray tracing off. They're kind of one of the two options, really, to keep your frame rate above 60. Definitely feels better in this forest, though, flying around as well. So I do think it'll be a bit smoother for you with DLSS on. And frame generation as well.
Your poaching days are over.
Yeah, so I switched DLSS off here, and we've still got frame generation on. So obviously you're not gonna degrade the image quality at all by having a setting like this, but you should hopefully stay above 60, which it looks like we are. 80 to 90. You will probably still get some dips, but I think you'll probably stay above 60. But obviously keeping the quality of the image by not scaling it. So that could also be an option for some people as well, because I don't really think you need above 100 FPS on this game, really.
Come here.
You know, 60, you can get away with 60 fine. So yeah, it seems like you'll stay above 60 there. 70 to 80 with some dips down. But it is still... I don't think there's any way to get away from the stuttering, unfortunately. That frame time, again, still a 0.1% low of 15. I don't think there's really any way to get away from that. I think that's just a consequence of Unreal Engine 4. That's going to be it for this video, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure to drop a like on the video, leave me a comment, let me know what you think, and I'll catch you next time.